Since the coalition came to power, when it comes to education, free schools have grabbed all the attention. But another brand new schooling model is also being started, the new University Technology College. Now, as the title suggests, the colleges concentrate on science and technology and aim to increase the number of engineers. 2 of them have opened so far, one in the West Midlands and one in Staffordshire. They are part funded by industry, but most of the money comes from the government. There'll be 2 more opening this year, another 13 have been approved, and if the man behind them has his way, there'll be 100 of them in 5 years' time. The colleges are Lord Baker's project. Kenneth Baker was Education Secretary in Margaret Thatcher's government, and I asked him how these university technology colleges differ from ordinary schools.
They're very different from ordinary schools. First, they're 14 to 19. We believe 14 is the right age of transfer. Youngsters can decide themselves what their interests are. That's number one. Secondly, we get a university to sponsor each one, not with money at all, but commitment, getting involved with the teaching of youngsters at 14, 15 and 16, also helping to shape the curriculum. Thirdly, we get local employers to actually get involved with the school in much more way than they've ever done before. They can actually shape the specialist curriculum, because the curriculum consists of 40% technical studies, 60% academic subjects. The academic, English, Maths and Science, GCSE, a foreign language, German for engineering, not Goethe, French for business, not Molière, and history or geography. It's a demanding day. It's 8:30 to 5:30 every day. And what we found with the 2 that have opened already is that there's a real behavioural change. The youngsters at 14 are treated as adults. They wear business dress to the college, of course, overalls and dungarees when they're working on machinery. They have their own iPad or laptop. They're treated as adults. There's definitely behavioural change. Truancy virtually disappears, so does bloody-mindedness. The other thing we've discovered at the JCB Academy, which you visited, the JCB UTC, is that there's been a huge improvement in basic English and maths. Not a small improvement, a huge improvement, because the English and maths is melded in to the specialist engineering technical subject.
As you said, we've been to the JCB Academy. It's in Roaster, a village in Staffordshire, and Roaster is where the company headquarters of JCB is. Jim Wade, the principal, showed us around.
The JCB Academy is based in a converted Arkwright mill, and the mill was actually built in 1780 and it was in production with cotton right the way through to 1985. And we always say to the students actually to do some of your engineering and manufacturing education in somewhere that's been part of our manufacturing heritage for over 200 years. Real resonance in terms of the learning. So it's electronics in here. The students can use this room for electronics or pneumatics. At the JCB Academy, what we're looking to do is develop the engineering and business leaders of the future. You're coming into one of our production workshops, and in the production workshops there are about 24 lathes and about 8 turret mills, and we've got another production workshop next door, and the students go through all of the processes that you would expect a student to go through on an apprenticeship. If you take our sixth form students, Aidan, who's with us now, Aidan does maths and physics A-level alongside his engineering diploma. If you take Ella, who's one of our year 11 students, Ella does 3 separate sciences, mathematics, English, ICT, German, and I believe she's doing additional maths as well at this present moment in time as well.
On Monday and Friday we're here from 8:30 till 4, and Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday we have an hour longer than that where we do extracurricular activities. They really help with things when you're coming to write CVs and writing your personal statements for universities, because it's something extra that we have to write down. But also it's preparing us for what business hours are going to be like. It's not school hours, we go beyond that.
I would like to go into biomedical engineering. That is my preferred choice, and I think coming here and learning more about engineering that I wouldn't have learned at all at my old school has really helped me to choose that it's the right decision for me to go into that, rather than choosing it once I've finished A-levels and not being completely certain on what I wanted to do.
We are currently 90% boys, 10% girls. We'd really like it to be 50-50, to be perfectly honest, and therefore what we're trying to look to do is to encourage more girls to consider engineering as a career route. We're running a series of workshops where we're hoping to have about 250 11-year-old girls come and join us this summer to hopefully sow a little bit of a seed. 3D room, So the youngsters do their designs next door. Then you can come in here and the youngsters put their 3D goggles on and they can project their images actually in 3D. And if you go to somewhere like Jaguar Land Rover, then they will do a lot of some of their design within a 3D environment. I think the range of opportunities we provide them here, both in terms of equipment, are different to what you would have in a standard state school. But actually what's the real difference here is that opportunity to actually work together with those partner organisations and with students with similar interests and abilities in terms of moving their understanding forward.
Staff and pupils at the JCB Academy in Roaster in Staffordshire. It's called, as I said, a university technical college, and the university that should be involved with it is the University of Derby. Liz Barnes is the Pro-Vice Chancellor. Now, I know you have some reservations about the whole idea of these schools. Tell me what they are.
Well, if I start with one about the commitment of the university to university technical colleges, what's really important for any university is that it works with all of the schools within its catchment. And it's about what's expected of universities, particularly as the title of university is being used for these technical colleges. And I have to say, it's not really clear why we would call them university technical colleges when they're really focused on the technical, the technology. We have other schools within our catchment area, John Port and Queen Elizabeth and Ashbourne, that are specialist schools in technology. And there is a concern that if students are being sort of so-called siphoned off into these university technical colleges, it might reduce the number of students who can study technology in our local sixth forms. And, schools are worried about the viability of technology for those students in the future within our other schools. And so there is that concern about how we can ensure that we retain opportunities for students to engage in technology and engineering across all of our schools and not just in these specialist schools.
Because, Lord Baker, the idea is that these will be regional centres of excellence, so you'll have to travel to them, and not everyone will be willing to do that. Not every child will have parents willing to push them into that.
We're finding they're very popular indeed. 17 have been approved, and there'll soon be an announcement of a further significant increase on that. There's no doubt that universities are stepping up to it. Other universities haven't expressed those, universities like Cambridge and Warwick and Nottingham and Bristol are all very keen to support these. The Russell Group as well as other universities, because they see there's enormous opportunity. And it's not to the disparagement of other schools, but do remember, the college that you visited, JCB, the amount of equipment they had in that was £800,000. They have a wonderful range of engineering equipment. An ordinary school simply couldn't possibly have that degree of equipment. And so you're switching on young people at the age of 14, and the commitment of those youngsters in that school is absolutely magnificent. We're not trying to hit the other schools at all. What we're trying to do is to create real beacons of excellence.
Liz Barnes, is it the case that a university like yours, and I've had a look at the courses you offer, many of them are technical vocational engineering.
Yes, absolutely.
You could lose pupils, couldn't you, from a school like this, because they will feed perhaps straight into a job without having to pay for a university education or spend the time doing it?
No, actually, I mean, it would still work very much in terms of how we work currently with our local employers. A lot of our students are employed locally and study part-time with us, or are sponsored by employers to come and study our degrees. And we also offer, and we will be offering more higher apprenticeships in the future. So actually we would expect these academies to feed into the university. My major concern is that really where these schools have got these specialist resources, that there is access for others and that we continue to offer technology in other schools locally.
Well, we're not trying to hit the technology in other schools locally at all. That's not the purpose. But I want to see the spread of these on a very extensive scale so that all local communities can have access to them. Liverpool, for example, is going to
Since
have
the coalition came to power, when it comes to education, free schools have grabbed all the attention.
Also Derby, I'm sure,
but another brand new schooling model is also being started.
And Toyota,
the new
all the local
university
employers want
technology
The trouble
college. college.
The education
now, as the title
system is not
suggests,
turning out youngsters
colleges
who
concentrate
many
on
companies
science
can
and
work
technology,
with. They say
and aim
they've
to
not
increase
been-
the number of
they're not
engineers.
technical enough,
2 of them
they're
have
not
opened so
educated
far,
well
one in
enough.
North Midlands and
We've
one
got
in
to
Staffordshire.
retrain them. Indeed,
They
even
are part funded by
many
industry,
graduates,
but most of the money
engineers
comes from the
from
government.
universities.
There'll be 2 more
also
opening
companies
this
say
year.
we have to
Another
retrain them.
13
They've
have
not
been
practical
approved.
enough.
And if the
And I
man
think one of
behind
the
them
things
has
that
his way,
Derby University
there'll be
does
100 of them in
is
5
have very
years' time.
practical
The colleges
training
are
for
Lord Baker's
engineers
project.
at
Kenneth
the
Baker was
university level.
Education
Other
Secretary
universities
in
don't
Margaret
have that.
Thatcher's government.
Well, this goes
And I
back
asked
to
him
an
how these
idea of
university
reaching
technology
maturity at
colleges
around
differ
14,
from ordinary schools.
rather than
They're
at
very
perhaps
different
16
from
or
ordinary
18.
schools. First, they're 14
Won't it be for some
to
pupils
19.
a chance to
believe
shed the
14 is the right
humiliation
age
of having to
transfer.
go on with
Youngsters
a
can
very
decide
academically
themselves
based
what their
education
interests are.
that
That's
isn't
number one.
right for you?
Secondly, we get a university
Yes,
to
but
sponsor
actually
each one.
14 is a
Not
very
with money
early
at all,
age
but
to make a
commitment.
decision
Getting
about
involved
your
with
future
teaching
career,
youngsters at 14,
because
15,
we do
16,
see
also helping
lots
to
of
shape the
students
curriculum.
change their choices
Thirdly, we
as they
get local
progress, firstly when they're
employers
selecting
to
for
actually get involved
GCSEs,
with the
then when
school
they
in
select
much
for
more
A-level,
ways than they've ever
and then
done
when they
before.
progress
They can
into
actually
higher
shape the
education.
specialist curriculum.
And our
Because the
advice is
curriculum
usually
consists of 40%
to keep your
technical
options
studies,
open
60%
and to make
academic
sure that you don't
subjects.
close
Academic,
down
English,
avenues.
maths and science,
I think what is
GCSE,
important, and I
foreign
think I did
language,
hear
German
this, that
for
within the
engineering, not
academies that a
Goethe,
broad
French for business,
curriculum
not
is
Molière,
maintained,
and history or
albeit
geography.
that there's an
It's
emphasis and
demanding
focus
day.
on
It's
technology and
8:30 to
engineering,
5:30
because the
every day.
likelihood is
And what we found
some
with the two
students will
that have
emerge
opened already
who want to do other
is that there's
things
a real
and take other
behavioural
routes.
change. The youngsters at 14 are treated as
valid
adults.
point.
They
And
wear
that's where we
business
have the
dress
broad
to the
education,
college.
of course.
Of the JCB
Overalls and
UTCs,
when they're working on
only 2 have
machinery.
dropped out in the
They
last
have
2
their
years
own
because they don't find
iPad
it
or
suitable
laptop.
to them.
But
They're
look
treated
what's
as
happening in the
adults.
rest of the world.
There's definitely
America
behavioural change.
chooses
Virtually
virtually
disappears.
disappears.
There's bloody mind. In most of Europe, the other thing we've discovered at the JCB Academy, which you visited, the JCB UTC, in Austria, which has one of the lowest huge improvement of unemployment English of young people. Not a small at 14, a huge go into selective the English and maths is melded in, not only engineering, other parts of it, like Kate, whatever it may be.
As you said, we've been to the JCB Academy. It's in Roaster, a village in Staffordshire, and Roaster is where the company headquarters of JCB
really quite
is.
mature.
Jim Wade, the principal,
they really
showed us
know where
around.
their interests are. And it's no good asking
JCB
youngsters
Academy,
who don't want to go into the academic world particularly to go on doing something they don't want to do.
And
I was talking to Lord Baker
the mill was
and
actually built in 1780 and it was in production with cotton